Hello, my name is Matt Van Italie, and I'm the CEO of Sema. So I graduated from Harvard Law School and went to McKinsey, the management consulting company. I really like working on hard challenges that organizations face. That's always been my North Star, and I love it. Many years there working with government agencies, helping them get better at what they did. I then left and wanted to make a real contribution to organizations that needed help. And so I spent about 5 years working with urban school systems, trying to transform public education. That took me first to DC public schools and the KIPP charter school network. And finally, in my last stop, I ended at the Baltimore City Schools, where I served as the Chief Accountability Officer, sort of at the intersection of education and technology. I then bootstrapped a machine learning-based startup having to do with tech commercialization, and then worked for several software companies, ending up at Social Solutions here in Baltimore. So a lot of factors came together to make Sema what it is today and the ideas behind Sema. First and foremost, I'm the child of 2 computer programmers, so I come by a love of technology. I did, in the early days, learn how to program, basic programming, both basic like simple and also basic, the software named basic. But when I really think about what I took from my parents were the values that they instilled. So one is about service. I've been exceptionally lucky to have had incredibly supportive parents, to have been so lucky with educational and work experiences. My parents instilled in me the obligation to give back. And so whether that's working with school districts or reforming government agencies or building a company like Sema that will contribute to solving more problems, to bringing wealth and jobs to Baltimore, that notion of service is core in me, and it's really thanks to my parents. The second thing I took from my parents is deep, deep, deep curiosity. They were always sending me to a dictionary or encyclopedia to look up answers to questions, to encourage me to explore the world. I wouldn't have had the confidence or the courage to go off and figure out a new topic like software maintenance and try to make sense of this body of knowledge if I hadn't learned from them how important it was to be creative and curious. I spent a lot of time working with organizations in the public sector and the private sector who had software as part of what they did. In 2018, everybody is a software company one way or the other. Even school districts have really big software systems. And over time, over many different organizations, I started to see a pattern, which was the cost and the expense and the painfulness of fixing software was really extraordinary. And that led me to look into the ideas behind Sema and ultimately launch the company. So let's talk about software maintenance. And here I mean not building new software, not new features or new functionality, but about fixing software that already exists, maybe to make it faster, or to fix a bug, or to move it to a modern language. When I first started looking into this, I thought, well, what software programmers do is they write new code or they write new features, and that's their jobs. It turns out that's actually not true. Half, sometimes more than half of their time for software developers, they just have to fix the old code. It is extraordinarily expensive. It's really unpleasant. I know my friends firsthand would much rather build new, put their creative energies to work on software rather than trying to untangle somebody else's spaghetti code mess. So let's talk about Sema's technology. We actually use a combination of machine learning and genetic programming, software that can actually understand what's going on with code and figure out problems with it, and also come up with suggestions for how to improve it. These systems can actually learn from existing code, and in doing so, do a better job of actually fixing code. We really feel like we picked a good market working on software maintenance because of all of the different people in an organization who really benefit. First and foremost, developers have more fun, and that's real to me. I have friends who are developers who would really rather not try to figure out old code. So this is enabling them to spend less time on the fixing of old code so they can spend more time solving the new critical problems. For CTOs, it means happier developers, which is really important. For CFOs, it means lower cost and higher margins because software maintenance, for a variety of reasons, is very expensive. And then for CEOs, not only is it lower cost, it's lower risk, and it's more opportunity to build for the future rather than having to focus on the past and figure out what wasn't working in the past.